Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be the weekly newsletter review of the power scans that I send out to the Inner Circle community that is open to anybody to subscribe and sign up to. So what I want to do is this week just go over a few different scenarios, and as I've been saying and want to continue to say, the goal here and my intention here is not to imply that every single setup that I alert on these scans is some big winner or is a winner at all. That would be very misleading. Nothing is perfect. Nobody is perfect. No scan settings are perfect. But what I do want to show and represent is that this is why it's so important to understand risk management, to understand how to analyze risk and control risk, because losses will happen. But as long as you keep those losses manageable, as long as you keep them controlled, then when winners do come along, which you will see, they will not only take care of those losses, but they're going to keep you in the green and wipe away the losses, and then continue to put more and more profit in your pocket. So again, don't get the impression that I'm implying that every single one of my alerts that I send out on this email newsletter is going to be a big winner or is going to be a winner at all. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, hey, this is why risk management is at the forefront of importance when it comes to learning how to trade. So for this week, what we're going to take a look at is the week of 7/2 of 18. And I like to just kind of, go back in time. That way you give these charts plenty of time to play out, plenty of time to kind of do whatever they're going to do. And that way, by the time it gets to, me recording the video, there's plenty of data and there's not much of, well, we still got to kind of wait to see what happens. There is no more waiting to see what happens. It's already happened. And plus that's fair to members because if it's already happened, then that's fine. I don't have any, problem sharing this publicly. So let's get to these charts for the week. The first one I want to talk about here is ticker symbol HTZ, and I put this under the risk versus reward category. And as I commented here, a bit more bloodshed, and then you're looking at a solid RVR situation. So bloodshed, and then I map out to down to the 1450 area. That number is important. So 1450 is kind of that area that the setup was was implying, and that was being looked for. So let's see how this one plays out. So this is what the chart looked like going into the weekend. I send out the newsletter over the weekend. So the next candle you see is going to be Monday of that week. One thing to note, this was actually a shortened week because it was the week of Independence Day here in the United States. So there was only 4 trading days, and then you have kind of goofy volume. But even with that, I mean, that's kind of what I'm trying to illustrate, the power of charts, the power of knowing what to look for and knowing, kind of what to pay attention to. So let's see how this one played out here. And you can see on Monday, went down as low as 1471. And then, yeah, there it went and left everything behind. Wait a second, Clay, what was it? Well, last week I showed, how losers take place. And how, because like I said, I don't, there's no point in trying to make it seem like all I do is pick winners, because that's just deceiving. And anybody with half a brain cell is going to know that, okay, this guy is clearly full of it if he's just trying to imply everything's a winner. So last week, if you watched the video, I showed a loser. Here, I want to show that sometimes they're not losers, but they're also not winners. It's just a no play. It's a no, whatever you want to call it. And sure, I mean, if I really wanted to, I could say, well, it got within 21 cents of where it was. Okay, come on, 21 cents. That's a little bit of a stretch. Now, if it was a few pennies here, a nickel, okay, then on a $15 stock, a nickel, all right, I don't think that's stretching it. But 21 cents, that's a little too much. So yeah, this is just an example of it wasn't a winner, it wasn't a loser. It was just simply, there was a no play. That's kind of like what I like to call them, no play. And that's what also happened. So it's not like things are as cut and dry as you either win or you lose. Sometimes there's just no trade at all because it doesn't, act the exact way you wanted it to. And yeah, as the setup alerted, we wanted it to get down to that 1450 area. And while it got close, like I said, 21 cents, that's just kind of stretching things. So yeah, HTZ, just an example of an alert that turned out to just not provide an actual trade. The next alert was for ticker symbol VCL. And the comment here, not giving up on this one yet, a little bit of context that the previous week, after that candle had formed, I had actually alerted this one, and you can see, and in that week, it was just all about, hey, is the bounce coming? Is the bounce getting ready? And you can see there was absolutely no confirmation of a bounce. It just kept going further and further down. But then all this being what I've annotated here started to take place. So that's why I said that I'm not going to give up on this one yet, because I still did like the analysis. Sure, that hammer didn't lead to anything. The good news is it was pretty obvious that it wasn't bouncing, because it never bounced. So it just kept pulling back. And then you got some interesting dynamics. So that's why I said maybe now it is ready to bounce. So let's see if this one finally bounced or not. So once more, the next candle you see will be on Monday morning, because the scans are sent out over the weekend. So let's see if this thing is finally ready to bounce. So on Monday, got a nice solid green candle, plenty of opportunity to have been filled there. It's not like it gapped up massively or anything like that. Again, another day where it just kind of went sideways, plenty of opportunity. Again, sideways. Again, so this one took a little bit of patience. It's not like it took weeks upon weeks, but it's not like it happened right away. But then right there, you got some signs of life, and ultimately turned out to be essentially a 16% winner in less than basically a week and a half, if that. And I get it, 15.9%. Let me just put it this way. If you're looking at that and saying, that's it, as I say every week, and I think I'm going to say for every video, just to keep things in perspective, of 15.9% in basically a week and a half, go to your local bank and go and sit down with somebody and say, hey, excuse me, I would like, let's not even, because that 15.9, that's the profit opportunity window. So I don't, I'm not going to imply that anybody played it perfectly. So let's say you got 8% out of it. Go to your bank and say, hey, excuse me, ma'am, excuse me, sir, I would like 8% in my money in the next week and a half. And let me know what they say. Let me know their reaction. Again, 15.9, that was the profit opportunity window. So that was kind of the range you had to work in to pull some profit. So like I said, assuming you played it just half right, then you got 8% in a week and a half. Like I said, let's keep those numbers in perspective. 8% doesn't sound like a lot when you're used to probably seeing a lot of people out there that are posting huge alerts and huge percentage gains. And I've done the same in passing the newsletter. So those do happen, but it's not like they have to happen all the time in order to make it worth your while. Because again, you're more than welcome to go into your bank and get a 1% CD rate for the next 24 months, or you can potentially get 8% in a week and a half. So don't look at that as, oh, that's it. Let's keep things in perspective. The final alert we're going to go over is ticker symbol ATNM, and just take note of the price. Now we are talking about a sub $1 stock. So we looked at HTZ, that was up over $10. We've looked at VCEL, that was slightly below $10. And now we're looking at this, which is below $1. What's my point? Hey, Clay, well, what do you cover? I cover any setup that I think looks great. If you've watched past reviews, I think I've even done some $100 stocks. So we don't discriminate. Whatever we think, whatever I think on the scans has an high probability opportunity to put some percentages in your pocket. That's what we're going with. So whether you trade penny stocks or you trade options on expensive big board stocks, there's something for everybody, and that's what I want to make sure to convey here. So yeah, let's see how this technical pattern of the bull flag turned out on ATNM. So here we are. Let's get to Monday morning and see how that one turned out. So Monday morning, a pullback there. Actually pulled back a little bit more, but did start to show some signs of green, but still very clearly inside of that pattern. Started to work its way up inside of the pattern, and just so you know, the calculations I use are not based off of the low down here. That's a little bit too pie in the sky. So right there actually hit its head right off of that trend line, and right there did get the trend line break. So I am doing the calculations off a 65-cent entry. If you did decide to try to hop in slightly below because you thought it was going to be, then hey, then you know what, your profit opportunity window was that much bigger. But I'm trying to play things conservatively. But definitely none of these calculations were based off of you time the bottom perfectly. So let's see how this continues to play out as it now has actually gotten above that trend line. Little bit of consolidation after the break, and then there it goes up to a high there that gave a gain of just shy of 33%. And this, again, took a couple weeks. We'll call it 2.5 weeks. I don't know the exact time frame on it. But, and again, that was the profit window. So let's go with you played it half right. Okay, now you're looking at 16%. 16% in 2.5 weeks. If you're thinking, oh, that's not that good. Well, you have been brainwashed by marketing by other people out there. I mean, stop and really let's keep grounded in reality. 16% in 2.5 weeks. There's nowhere else in the world you're going to get that. That's just not going to happen. You can't walk into your bank and get that amount. So, like I said, I guess this is kind of a good quiz for yourself. Have I been brainwashed? Well, I don't know. Be honest with yourself. If you looked at that and said, that's it, a 33% move, well, we're assuming you played it half right. So a 16% move in only 2.5 weeks, that's it? I'm sorry, but you've been brainwashed by some, and I don't blame you. Some of the marketers out there are very good that get you to think that you need some sort of massive percentages in order to make it worth your while, but that's just not the truth. So overall, a couple nice winners, and then, you saw the one where it was just simply a no play, and, that's a little taste of how, the setups work and, kind of what you would expect. Finally, just to wrap things up, if you do want to, get these newsletters, if you do want to get the scans, then you just have to go to claytrader.com/inner circle. And along with that, it's not just the scans that you get. It's actually and probably more well-known part is the live trading chat room. And, it's one of those things where a lot of people think the inner circle is only for day traders because of the live chat room. But as you see here, if you're just a swing trader, then the newsletter scans can give you quite a bit of value too. So don't forget about that. As far as the cost is concerned, $99 per year. When you do the math, it breaks down to $1.90 per week. So if you can't find $1.90 per week, I'm not sure what to tell you, but I'm more than confident that it's fair. And I mean, the proof is in the math. The proof is not really an opinion. $1.90 per week. Yeah, that's fair. For, exact when you see, the scans and stuff. And I don't know what to say other than $1.90 per week. That's more than fair. And then there is a app available too. So you can check in, whenever need be. It's not like you have to be chained down to a computer or anything like that. So if there are any other questions, leave those comments down below. But yeah, give us a try. And like I said, $1.90 per week.